Henry T has those, what do they call them? Butterflies. They're all over me today. Like I told you, my buddy Muhammad Ali said, man, when you have something big on your show, you got to have butterflies inside, outside. And if you don't have any butterflies, then get out of the business because it doesn't mean anything to you anymore. Today, I am inundated with butterflies. Man, because I've got a superstar on my show today. Well respected man, hardworking, very, very accomplishing, maybe the most humble man in the business of sports I've ever met, and maybe the most respected, certainly the most fun. Ray Birmingham, Lobo baseball coaches with Henry T. and you today. 15 years as head coach of the Lobos, accomplished what, five regionals, four conference championships, many professional baseball players that he's put in the big leagues, minor leagues, wherever. What a story. Coach of the Year several times, national championship at Hobbs Juco. Man, he's seen it all. He's been around the world in Arkansas twice. He's got a fishing pole in one hand, a rattlesnake in the other, and drives a pickup truck. How about that for our buddy Ray Birmingham? That's the tease. After this commercial break, you'll meet the famous Ray Birmingham. But first, let's put our new sponsor on there who felt so big about Coach Birmingham being on the show today. He wanted to debut his commercial right now because of his respect for Coach B. Here's Marty Seiss, our good neighbor, State Farm agent. Can you hear me, Coach?
I can. your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, man, doze off. Don't you dare do that, because you got the famous guy on, Henry T. But thank you, Marty Sice, for being on this team today. And thank you for your love and respect for Coach Birmingham. And the other day, a lot of people had tears in their eyes, ladies and gentlemen, in a press conference out at the Lobo Baseball Diamond, because this beloved man has given so much of himself, time, energy, money, put that baseball park together. It's big time. I mean, beautiful. And it was all because Coach Ray had it in his heart to give his players and you, the community, this beautiful ballpark. Oh, let's go to Coach Ray right now. He's on holding and got butterflies because this means a lot. Coach Ray Birmingham, what a pleasure to introduce you today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Man, I'm shaking, Coach. This means a lot. Watching you work that program, building it up, the love for the kids first, the love for what you do, the way you treat people in the community. You do it better than anybody. Congratulations on the past 15 years.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a wonderful ride with my family, New Mexico.
I remember the first day you got to Albuquerque and we met out at the Isotopes Park, doing a pregame show, talking things over. Man, I was flattered. You knew who Henry T was. I certainly knew who you were, but man, this man knows Henry T. That was such an honor, and it's still an honor. Thank you, Coach.
Well, everybody knew who Henry T was if you've grown up in New Mexico.
Wow, what a ride. Before I ask you detailed questions, can you kind of culminate all those years into a paragraph?
Winning with our family, New Mexico kids. I mean, that's probably the proudest part of it for me.
Yeah, man. And you had a bunch of them. And I remember that lineup with Jordan Pacheco and his team. I mean, all your teams have had personality, but that was early on in your career. Watching you, knowing about your accomplishments down at Hobbs, wow, a national championship at any level is superstar status in my book. Let's start there. Everybody wanted a piece of you back then. Let's get this young, great coach at Hobbs, JC, and you selected UNM. Do you recall that day way back when?
I do. And to be honest with you, I never applied at the University of New Mexico. David Schmidley, the president at that time, had met with, and the governor at that time of New Mexico, and the lieutenant governor of New Mexico called, and the athletic department said, you need to at least interview this guy. And so when I got back from the national championship game in 2007, I was checking my messages, and there was a call to come visit. So I had planned on retiring. I was 51 at the time, and I was planning on going to into private business and make a little money.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I do know why, but I took the job because it needed help, and it was my state, and it was my family, and I thought I could do it. And they gave me and they were honorable enough to give a little old guy from Hobbs, New Mexico, a chance. So I appreciate that too.
Well, I'll tell you took a salary cut. You had a mountain to climb here. You had better facilities at Hobbs than what you had here. But then you just got to work. Shovel in one hand, rake in the other, and a couple of volunteers. You said, who wants to help me? A few guys like Fred Holtberg raised their hand, and they were out there working with you, shoveling snow, adding gravel, whatever. You got this community to believe in you right away. And on top of it all, you're winning games. We're winning at baseball. Why? Because Coach B's in town. Those are the early, exciting, humble days for you and your fans here.
Well, I didn't do it by myself. Everybody in this state and this community and the alumni and the players, they all chipped in, they all believed. And you can't do anything good by yourself. It has to be, everybody has to chip in, you included. And, you know, I can go, the list of thank yous that I have to give out are probably a million pages, because everybody chipped in here, man. This is a team deal. This is a team deal, and I really appreciate it.
Wow. You know what? We know it. That's why we'd go to war with you. We'd be in the same foxhole together with you, because of that hard, down home respect for a guy that, man, he just rolled his sleeves up, Ray Birmingham, and said thank you all the way. That's you, and that's why you have so much love coming your way this week.
Well, it has been humbling. I got 1,500 text messages 2 days ago, and then it's still blowing up today. And I got players calling me from 1978, and so you know, that's what you get out of this. So you get an investment. If you put an investment into a community, into people, that's the investment that comes back to you. And it's much rewarding, and it's much humbling. And, you know, I care about this state. I've been in every community in this state, either with a baseball or a baseball camp or whatever. And, you know, the Mexicans are hardworking people. They're humble people. And I love them.
Wow. And I don't care if it's the guy in the team that was injured or never played, or the guy that just didn't quite have the ability to play, but he earned a uniform from you to be a part of the team, or it's to the guy that's in the major league right now, Mitch Garver, who remembers you every time he swings the bat, because you told him, no, get that elbow up. No, get your wrist over here. You showed him how to hit the ball, and look what he's doing in the big leagues. It didn't matter from the guy that never played to the guys in the big leagues. They all have the same feeling and respect. How do you receive that statement?
You know, I'm in the kid business, and they did it. I just tried to help them do it and help them get there. So I'm fortunate to be around those kinds of kids. You know, I'll always cherish every one of them, even the ones that you didn't get to play or you didn't give them a scholarship. You've had to make decisions on people's lives with their best interest in mind and your best interest in mind, the program's best interest in mind. And sometimes what you want and what you need, being an old dog, I know how this journey goes, and I've tried to help everybody accordingly and with their best interest in mind. And so, you know, I've always been a guy that pushed pretty hard with players, and because I know what they can be and not what they are. And a good teacher sees what you're capable of and sees where this journey could go if you just do these things. That's what I'm a New Mexico educator, and that's what we were taught to do. So, there's an old saying that my first grade teacher thought I was smart, so I became smart. Somebody believed in you, somebody built a dream for you. And if we do that for our kids and we provide them with a nice facility, it'll happen. And it'll happen in the classroom. It'll happen in the community. It'll happen in sports. And it just takes effort and not giving up, just keep plugging.
The Hobbs story is, I think, part of UNM's story, because it was a quick little transformation out of one park into another, and the banner was still up. Pride and respect for you was, wow, we're getting Ray Birmingham, the national champion. And all of a sudden you were here, and I got to greet you at the ballpark. Wow, what a day for Henry T.
Yeah, well, you did a lot to help us early, because we weren't on radio, and you were gracious enough to broadcast it on radio and broadcast the game. And sometimes you had to hold that antenna out the window with your hand there at Isotopes Park. So much appreciation for that, Henry. Much appreciation for what you did too.
Well, that's a lot of fun. How about the ball players that you opened their professional baseball career? And there were many of them. And someday I want to take time to call Mitch Garver and all of them. The list is way too long, but just to get a soundbite with them as how and what you did for their career. Man, that would be a story and a book too.
You know what? I didn't do it. They did it for themselves. I just try to show them the way and provide the opportunity. I mean, I've watched all these kids do good things, but just being a Major League Baseball player, that's not the pinnacle for me. To watch them be good human beings, to be good husbands, to be good fathers, to be impactful. There's a kid named Kevin Letts that played here, and watching him help in the community, and D. Dennis III, and watching him help with children's cancer. And, those are the things that I'm like, wow, now that's a great human being. And that's what we're in the business of doing. And we'll win our championships, and we'll send guys to the big leagues. And that's their dream. But my dream for them is a positive lifetime dream, that I can see them in 10 years and go, hey man, you're doing good. People love you, and you're impactful in this community, and you got a great family. You're a good husband. And Mitch is that. Mitch has got that. I mean, his wife's about to have a baby, and I'm really pumped for him. Jordan's got 2 little children. I go on down the line with all the kids. Sam Haggerty's now in the big leagues, and I was hard on Sam Haggerty, but I'm glad he's doing that. I'm glad he's doing well. And Sam Wolf and Austin House and Brian Cavazos and DJ Peterson and all those kids that did really well. I just want them to have a good life, because baseball's over sometime.
The sophistication of hitting at any level, you either do it right or you don't hit.
You're right.
To teach it. And
well, I simplify it.
When you teach a hitting class one afternoon and your guys get it, and all of a sudden the ball is flying everywhere, how satisfying is that for you?
It's a big deal for me. But today's world has gotten so complicated, and baseball has become extremely complicated for these kids. And when you get to the big leagues, you take a lot of that. When you get to pro ball, you better take a lot of that flash and glare and some of that stuff you don't need out of your swing and out of your approach, or you won't catch up. You won't hit the ball. And so now today, kids are taking lessons at 8 years old, and they complicate it, and they make it, and eventually it doesn't work out for them because they've made it so complicated. So it's, to me, you want a good life, simplify it. You want to be a good baseball player, simplify it.
You still see when you watch Mitch, and he's banging the ball everywhere, by the way.
Yeah,
Long ball. When you watch him, do you recall the days on your field in the cage?
I do. He worked hard at it. I mean, Mitch comes from a blue collar family. He worked really hard at it, as Alex Bregman did too. I mean, neither one of them were the greatest. They were good athletes, but they weren't the greatest athletes in town or the state. But they were really smart, and they really worked hard, and they had a plan, and they executed that plan. And that's why they are who they are. And they did it every day. Some guys just do it once a week. They did it every day. And they've had their ups and downs, but they fought through it. They had the Lobo fight to fight through it. They have the mentality that it's going to be a grind. It's going to have its ups and downs, but I'm going to fight through it. So I tip my hat to Mitch for doing it.
Yeah. And to this day, you're very close with Alex.
Yeah, he's a great kid.
Family.
Great kid.
Yeah. You know, Coach, all these years have passed so quickly.
Yeah.
And, the 5 regionals coming that close to going to Omaha, the 4 conference championships, the players that went on. Mike, I want to include Hobbs in there because to win a national championship at any level is quite exciting. I mean, tell us that story.
You know, when I was a kid, and we all know it in New Mexico, when we drive off to play in a tournament in Texas or Arizona or somewhere else, they look down their nose a little bit at us like, oh, that's New Mexico, no sweat. And so, you know, there's 600 junior college teams in the country, and we beat St. Petersburg, Florida in the championship. And to watch the kids run around the stadium of 14,000 people with a New Mexico flag, I went, there you go. We finally got there. And New Mexico can get it done too, baby.
And 1 minute after you got that championship, was your phone ringing off the wall?
Yeah, it was. But I still had a couple more years there because I had to finish the stadium. Like, I probably would have retired a couple of years ago, but I still needed to finish the stadium. So leaving a facility from what it was when I found it to now was important for me, for the kids, because now not only are the Lobos going to play here, but this facility is New Mexico Activity Association's facility too. And we have an agreement for the state tournament. And now they don't have to spend $10,000, $20,000 to rent a stadium. Wow. The University of Mexico. And that's what I want to happen across the state. I want everybody to collaborate their efforts, make our money go farther, our efforts go farther, and bond us together because we need it really bad.
Wow. I mean, you put all these fascinating stories together. Like the morning I drove out there and I hurt my back so I couldn't get involved. But like Fred Holtberg with a shovel, got snow going over the fence.
Two days in a row, man. Fred's never worked that hard in his life. It almost killed me and Fred, but we did it.
But that kind of
play baseball.
That kind of help. That doesn't happen every day. It's not abracadabra everywhere. But a guy like Fred, you know his heart. He's out there with you. You've got a bigger shovel than he does. I mean, what a sight.
You know, it's like I said about Ralph Tasker. You know, when you went to Hobbs High School, Ralph Tasker had a lot of sayings, and he kept the same ones all the time. But one of them was hustle, pride, and desire. And we had a lot of pride being a Hobbs Eagle. I mean, it was real important to us. And that resonated with me in the state, and that resonated me as an American. I'm proud to be an American. And, you know, I've got to travel all over the world coaching USA teams. And I remembered this I can't remember, it was '04 or somewhere in there, before I came to UNM. We were playing in China, and we had won several games, and now we're playing the Chinese national team, which is men. They're playing pro ball, and big game. And we went to the line to do the national anthems, and China played theirs, and then they didn't play ours. And my pride took the best of me, and I went berserk. But because I went berserk, we had to get back on the line and play the national anthem. And, you know, and that's just me. I mean, that's my generation. And so pride is important to me. And I will, if you don't do things the right way in respect of New Mexico or the United States or University of New Mexico, I'm going to let you know.
Wow. I read it. I hear it. I feel it. And you know, you led the nation in giving teams blackboard material. You inspired every team beyond inspiration when you were never reluctant to say, yeah, LSU, Arizona State, we're going to get them. Go Lobos. And you were never reluctant to tell your team, we're capable of winning this game, no matter who is on that park, on that field.
And we did.
In a few stress moments, because the other team was there with their marching band and cheerleaders and everything, because they read the bulletin board material that you gave them. You were never reluctant to sell your team as the best there is on the field.
No, you don't back up. You move forward, charge the hill, man. And that's the way I feel about it. I feel like, you know, we can kick your ass just like you can try to kick our ass, but I think we're going to kick your ass.
I mean, you made us believers. We're going to Omaha this year, and you gave it that Omaha effort, you and your Lobos.
Thank you.
And it's too bad that we couldn't recruit the 150-mile-per-hour fastball to Albuquerque with our thin air, where balls fly out of here and Denver's Mile High Stadium easier than any parks in the country. You can't put a 1,000-foot screen up to hold the balls back in. I mean, the opponents come in here and they hit it. Then they go, well, I didn't hit it that good, but there it goes over the wall. You always had that problem.
Yeah, well,
the Mile High.
Pitching's the key to the game, baby. And there are only so many of them out there, but it will happen. And my replacement, I will support him 100%, whoever Eddie Nunez picks, and we'll keep this baby rolling. I've got to go. I love you. I love all of you there. And thank you for having me on, Henry T. And thank you for all you've done for me.
And the last thing I want to say, I was so fortunate by a committee to vote me into New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. And right next to me was Ray Birmingham. I'll never forget that wonderful evening with you and I being honored together.
Pretty cool, wasn't it?
Wow. God bless you, Coach. Thank you.
I love you guys.
Take care,
Coach. Go Lobos.
Amen. There he goes. Go Lobos. You know, he's a guy that he doesn't want to get compliments. He's so humble. And, you know, but, you know, everybody that interviewed him yesterday, and I don't know why, I'm getting emotional because of down home, humble, down to earth, and the way he believed in his kids. And I didn't think that I would have the opportunity to say, Coach, you're retiring? I didn't think he had the word in him. But you know what? He's got a beautiful wife and a great family. And now he feels, hey, he's at the age and the time and he's going to go give his years coming to his family. What a good guy. And I love the game of baseball. And man, baseball, I played it. I loved it. I coached it. Little League, coaching my son. Great thrill. Great thrill. And if you don't mind, I didn't know Coach Ray was going to get off so early. And you know what? I gave him so many compliments. Knowing him, he's a little emotional right now. He said, man, I got to get off the TV. But that game, something about the game of baseball, it's a difficult, very sophisticated game to play. And I know that there's one story my son and I tell each other a lot, and it's the game of baseball. When I was a television anchor at TV 13, and at the same time I was coaching at North Valley Little League, and great summer with my son. And I never let the TV business interrupt the national growth between a dad and a son with his leisure activities, with the activities that he wanted to play. And I would always make some kind of way with my TV schedule. And if I had a feature to do, I'd go get my son and we'd go do the feature and take a little time out in the afternoon to get a big bag of balls. Jimmy Papan, who was one of the hardest workers I've ever met and a former pro player and a neighbor of mine. In fact, Jimmy Papan is the guy that showed Henry T. how to hit, how to throw a football, how to field a ground ball, just how to be an athlete. He would walk across the field next to my home up there around Candelaria and San Mateo. And I'd see this guy every day. Who is this guy? A big bag, like the bag that Santa Claus and the reindeers came with on Christmas Eve, a bag that big. Only this bag was filled with baseballs and bats, footballs and a basketball, and just everything imaginable the athletes could use in their training to be better. And I'd follow him. I said, who is this guy? Where's he going? What's in that bag? We'd go over to a park, Headingley Park in the Northeast Heights. And it's a park right behind the Heights Boys Club. And now you got the vicinity, and now you got the park. Well, Jimmy would walk across the field every day. I mean, every day. And he was a great athlete because he had that strong work ethic. And I'd follow him, and I'd hide behind a tree and watch Jimmy punt, throw the football, sprints, just everything. He did certain exercises out there. But he would punt, and I could not believe his punts would go very high, very long. And then he had this one tree that had like a little Y in it, and it'd stand back about 40 yards and throw it right through that Y. And he'd go after, he had like 3 footballs and throw all 3 and then sprint, not walk, not trot, but sprint for the balls, football, and he had, 3 footballs. He had basketballs in there, baseballs, and he had enough to have enough repetitions. So he could stand there and throw, and then go retrieve the ball. And I knew it was getting tired from him, so I kind of snuck out there and threw the balls back to him. He appreciated it. He said, "Come on over here. We got to meet." And we met all the time because of his work ethic. And we talked, and he showed me how to be an athlete, how to be in shape. And I was the most in shape high school athlete at my school than anyone on campus because of the love and the hard work that Jimmy showed me. And but he didn't need to chase his own balls anymore because Henry T was there. I would do the chasing and I would throw the footballs back and the baseballs. And there was a basketball court nearby. I'd help him and just throw him the ball so he could shoot, shoot, shoot. But he also said, "Henry T, your time. Here, I'm going to pass it to you. I'm going to show you how to shoot the basketball. I'm going to show you how to throw the football correctly." And showed me a lot of things out there. But that work ethic rubbed off on me. And I made teams. Couldn't believe it. I made my junior high school football team starting lineup because Jimmy taught me how to do that. And boy, what a thrill that was to play for Al Gibson at McKinley Mid School, make the team, and never leave the field. Running back, there was a guy that already took the quarterback spot. He was bigger than me, but I was happy to be a running back. But Coach Gibson let me play quarterback as well, and I loved that position. But I never left the field. And Jimmy taught me, Jimmy Pepin, he played both ways at Sandia High School. And you know, he told me about hitting, how to play defense. You hit with all your might. You hit him as hard as you can on every play. And I did. You know, and back then they had, you know, they taught the kids how to hit that you can't use that technique today. And I was a little guy and we speared a lot. Those big running backs turn the corner on a power sweep and you can't wrap them up all the time. So I'd go as fast as I can out there just as they wanted to turn the corner. And the only way I could bring them down was with a body block type tackle. And most of the time it worked because against Carlsbad, they had those big Perini guys. And I'd come up from the safety and I'd play for Sandia. And the only way I could bring those big guys down, they played at Carlsbad. And they were big and bold and fast and strong. And they thought that they were going to run over Henry T. Well, many times they did. But sometimes I hit them full speed on that body block, hit them around the knees, you get them up in the air and stop that sprint before they could get it started. And I had to do that all the time. They get by a linebacker, and then it's me and them. They're not going to go anywhere. They are not going to score on that play. And everybody that plays defense knows it hurts. It hurts to bring down somebody. You have a helmet and shoulder pads, but it still hurts. Defensive players, they can tell you every time they make a tackle, they're stunned a little bit, hurts somewhere. I don't care what league they're playing in. To make a tackle and bring somebody down, you feel the effect. It hurts. So Jimmy taught me how to play defense with just the talk. Hey, here's the technique, but you can't be afraid to get hit. or be afraid to use your body to bring somebody down. So it's desire. I learned that hitting was desire. And Jimmy taught me that. Man, did he taught me a lot. I know what Ray Birmingham was talking about here a few minutes ago, that you gotta, athletes, they're like sponges. They retain that knowledge. And a guy like Jim Ottman, who was a big star in the WAC conference for the Lobos, he came up to Sandia and he taught us how technique, desire, attitude, and he was a mean guy. He's one of the best defenders in the country at UNM. Another guy never left the field. And I was so happy to never leave the field. I had so much fun out there. And there were many games where I had to do kick the extra points, not only hold for the extra points, but be the punter as well as the kicker, PAT and kickoffs and everything, because I did a lot of that in the park with Jim Pepin. It was not unfamiliar to me. I knew what a kicking tee was. I knew how to put the football on the kicking tee, and I knew how many steps to take. And this was I was sixth grade, seventh, eighth, ninth, and got to play junior high football for Coach Al Gibson at McKinley. Wow. And we played, 7 games? Everybody played 7 games. We were undefeated and unscored upon. There were 2 teams at McKinley that were unscored upon and undefeated. One earlier than me that had a lot of players became very famous locally. But to be on an undefeated team and have everybody on the same page, what a feeling. But I'll never forget those days. And those are the days of getting up early in the morning and walking around the corner and putting a quarter on top of the newspapers at the drugstore, get one, walk down the shopping center and go into the bakery and buy a little tiny donut. And the lady down there every morning, she let me slide. She didn't want me to pay for it. Here's your chocolate donut, Henry T. And I go sit on the curb and read every word in the newspaper, sports page. I just threw the other part away and read it, every word in the sports page. And I've been doing it ever since then. But those are special days working with Jimmy. Jimmy passed away a few years ago, but before then, he became a big star at Sandia. And of course, he was older than me, and he was the guy that led Sandia and hit the winning shot for the Matadors over the Mighty Midgets of St. Michael's in the championship game at Johnson Gym. Same Jimmy Pepin, giving, loving, supportive, good friend. And we shared our conversation many a day about meeting him, how he helped me. And he even said, Henry T., you've helped me. Man, you got all those balls back to the, and well, Jimmy was, you talk about intense as a teacher, as an instructor. I had to, wherever I was, I had to reach him all the way, 40-yard punt, 45. I had to reach him on the fly with every pass I threw back to him. And then when I punted, man, some of these passes are so long, I had to punt the ball back to him. All those little moments built me up. But the baseball story I wanted to tell you was one morning, it's in the summer, and I had already had, this was the championship game. It was North Valley, our team, against um, Westgate, two best little league teams in the city. And we're meeting out at Jackson Mid School, and big crowd. This was 13-year-old little league. Big crowd, undefeated teams. The winner takes all. And every morning that summer, as I told you, because of Jimmy Pepin, who worked at the sporting goods, he'd get us a bag of balls. And I mean, there were, what, 100 balls in that bag. And we use every one, my son and I, Aaron, and we use every one for batting practice every morning at Our Lady of Guadalupe field, the North Valley field. And we'd get on there and practice every day. Jimmy, you interrupted me here, man. Did you want to say something? You went mute on me. I don't know what happened.
Oh, sorry. Here you go. So anyway, I wanted to mention that last week was our 1-year anniversary for the show, at least this version of the show. And I got Tim Baca on from Hydro Bar. And I'd like to, a few minutes to kind of chat a little bit about the great time that we've had in getting this show going and so forth. And, we've done this now for a little over a year. So I'm really excited. So, hey, Tim, thanks for joining us.
What's up, guys?
Hey,
Can you see me there?
Hey, thank you for all your support. And you're the guy that said, Henry, sit down. I got a studio here. Sit down, Henry. I'm going to hit this button. You're going to be on the air. And we all know that these cameras go worldwide now, just not a local little corner of people. Man, this is the internet. When you hit that button, wow, somebody's got it on in Moscow, Japan, or Italy, or wherever. You're on the air. Might as well say hi. Hello, Italy. Well, I didn't know all this. Tim, he's one of these geniuses. Knows it about cameras. I worked with him back in TV. Wow. Best photographer a reporter can have is right here. Producer deluxe. I mean,
my head's blowing up. You're blowing my head up there, Henry.
Together, I know. Let me tell the story. You were very good, even better today. But a good photographer, and Tim is great. Producer, and he's also great there. Audio, video, whatever. And I trust him. I did many a story with Tim. But he said, Henry, I got this room at the studio. When I hit this button, say something because you're going to be on the air. I hit that button and he said, say something, man. People all over the world are saying hi to you. And that was the beginning of our new relationship about being on the air again. And if it were not for Tim, I would not be sitting here today talking to you again. It was like reinventing myself with Tim. Henry, you're going to make a comeback, whether you like it or not. And he made me use his studio, and we did some early shows. And Tim, because of your creativity and holding a fist to my face, I'm back on the air again. Thank you.
Hey, man, you're welcome, bud. No, it was a privilege, and we went back years. I remember shooting video for you at Highland High School, and before I was even in the TV market here, I think I was covering some high school basketball games for somebody. But I remember when you walked in that day, you go, "Where's the antenna?" And I was like, "Well, we don't need one. That's the modem, and we get to go live on YouTube and Facebook it's technology is awesome. Just like today, I was able to jump on in my vehicle, just pull aside and get on live for a minute. But I really appreciate you guys thanking me on that. And it was just, getting to see you back, out there broadcasting is awesome. And you have such history in New Mexico's sports, mostly high school sports, baseball. It's just awesome to see you back on the air, Henry. It's awesome.
Well, you don't know you have anything left in the tank until you sit down, Henry. Now I'm gonna hit the switch, Henry. And when I hit the switch, you gotta say something, explain to me that we're going worldwide at that moment. Incredible.
It's the truth.
Once you told me we're on the air all over the world, my heart started beating. But that's the re-beginning of the Henry T career. Thank you, Tim.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. And we got to do. I know that since we started broadcasting from the Hydro Bar, which is my alkaline water business, and I have a studio there. Henry said I want to do my own studio, so I'm glad you were able to move into your own studio. But I do want to have you back and get you back in the studio for the anniversary, and we could do another show there. That would be awesome.
And your water is spectacular. I can't drink any other water, Tim. Tell our viewers why. I can't drink anything except Hydro Bar water.
It is a very healthy water. I've been working with Kangen water for over 8 years. I've seen people heal from it. It super hydrates your body. It tastes amazing. And for people that are water drinkers, I tell them, there's a lot of different properties of the water. I just let people know, drink it fresh, and you'll absorb it faster than any other water. So it's just like it's addicting almost in a good way. And so as I share it, people fall in love with it. And, I'm just so glad that I get to work, with my family on this project. I have a couple of good partners. We have a nice little store up here on Montgomery, near in the Mosman Center near Eubank. Near Louisiana, and we're planning on opening up more stores pretty soon. We were kind of waiting for COVID to things get back to normal, because people do need this product, and I have people all over the country that buy machines from me. So it's nice to know that this is a very needed technology. But Kangen alkaline water, it's amazing. So thanks for the mention on that.
Well, right now, if people around our state want to get that machine, what do they need to do today?
Contact me here at the Hydro Bar. You can just Google it. It's all one word, Hydro Bar by Kangen. We ship these everywhere. I just shipped one today to Queen Creek, Arizona. We ship these everywhere, and they're a long-term investment. People that own these, they just love them. In fact, we just put one in Ira Hard's Jr.'s home. Jimmy and I did, and so he loves it. And Ira, he's big athlete, and he just loves it. He started drinking it here and just fell in love with the water. So it's getting out there. We have some of our regulars, Coach Danny Brown comes in on a daily basis, coach for Sandia High School. We have a lot of people that come in every single day, and it's an amazing product. Amazing product.
Well, Jimmy,
thank you.
Thereafter, join me as our producer, and we're quite a team now, Jimmy Tran and me and you. So on this anniversary, congratulations to you and your beautiful wife, Julie, and your children. Man, I love to see your family get together and work. Wow.
Yeah. They're hustlers. I like that. And thanks, Henry. And no, they love you, man.
Oh, you're great. Jimmy, you want to say something to Tim?
Yeah, I do, and I thank you, Tim, for really, opening up your studio and making it possible for us to do this. I mean, all the investment that you've made into it has really helped us to kind of take what we were working on to that next level, which was great. And then,
No,
and like we talked about, we're going to do a full anniversary show there at the studio. So in the upcoming weeks, so we'll talk more about that later. Um, but I think it is important that we mark this milestone in our accomplishments. And so, I mean, we've done 2 shows, Henry. Think about that, 2 shows a week for over a year now. So, I mean, that's a lot of shows. And I remember you even said, "Hey, let's do 3 shows," and I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute," but it also is cool because there's a lot of great athletes. I mean, we've lost a few, and we got to capture those final, moments, like with Kelvin Scarborough and Jimmy Collins. I mean, we were able to get them on the show, just months before, and that was just amazing, the memories that we were able to capture from being a part of that community. So, and I think that that's what we have with this show, and I think that New Mexico is better for it, and we're, especially right now with all the stuff that's going on with the closures and stuff like that are still kind of lingering.
Now, no matter where I go, church, the supermarket, people say, "Wow, I love that show the other day." We're watching this TV show. They call it
Yeah.
podcast. And Jimmy and Tim probably knows the definition of pod. What is a pod, Jimmy?
podcast. I've never thought about that one. I guess it's what is that, Jimmy? I've never even thought about that, to be honest with you.
I don't know. The only pod I know is the pod over at MDC, but I don't think that we want any relationship with that.
But anyway, thank you. And to our producer, Jimmy Tran. God bless you, Jimmy. You're such a champion and such a professional. And man, I needed your help all the way, even to this moment. So thank you, Jimmy Tran. The love and respect I have for you is insurmountable. Thank you, buddy.
Well, you're welcome. This has been a great journey. This kind of like, last week or a few days ago when you were sharing your story about meeting Muhammad Ali, and that, kind of launched you into your national career and TV career and stuff like that. And I look at this, as kind of one of that kind of journey as well for me in this area of broadcasting. Even though I'm not in front of the camera all the time, I have my own show, that I'm doing as well, and being able to help you and work with you, and really meeting all the great New Mexican athletes and being a former athlete, all of those things really make it so wonderful that I'm, able to be a part of that, and of course we're writing New Mexico history here with what we're doing. And so that's also another really exciting part about what we're doing, and so thank you, Henry, for this opportunity.
Wow, Jimmy Tran. And as we go back to Tim Baca, man, Tim, you found me, Jimmy Tran. And you guys, when you guys collaborate, that conversation is high tech. And I have to write notes and then study them later just to keep up with your geniuses. You guys are two phenomenal technical wizards.
No, man, you guys are great, man. It's what a great combination. We all kind of just how we all kind of put this together, and Jimmy is, very, on it, man. He's like the most technical guy I know, and he's just very authentic, and so the group is great. We started with with the good group from the beginning, and we're all here for each other. So I love working with you guys, really do. And I enjoy the guests you brought into the store. just like when you brought in Kelvin. You know, I'd never met Kelvin. I've always watched Kelvin on when he was a Lobo, and just to get to sit with him that day, and just the you know, just how real the guy was. So because of you, I was able to get to meet Kelvin, you know, and spent, you know, hours talking to him. And unfortunately he passed, but I was glad that I was able to meet him through your show.
Well,
So
photos up at the Hydro Bar. Man, you got the who's who photo gallery at the Hydro Bar. Go by the visit
So, Henry,
400 Montgomery Northeast. And I know we're running out of time here, Jimmy. So
Yeah.
go to this one last stop.
so anyway, yeah, we'll continue this because, like I said, we're going to have this anniversary presentation, and we'll go with that because we're out of time because of the being on TV. We have a time slot that we got to fit into. So anyway, we got to sign off, Henry. So
Take care, Jimmy and Timmy and Alden, God bless you back at the studio. We'll see you again. I'll continue my story on Monday. Have a great weekend. See you later. Take care.
peace, guys. Thank you, guys.